Hello, gentlemen. This is my third attempt at this video. I made some videos at home when apparently my Wi-Fi was kind of spotty, and so they didn't take. So I'm here at school at 6 o'clock in the morning and re-recording this video, and so I'm hoping this one works. So I first of all want to reiterate something that I said yesterday after the scrimmages, which was that I'm proud of you guys. I thought it was a risk that we had a lot of players who were getting their first taste for varsity level lacrosse. So I thought those guys were all taking a big risk. And I loved the turnout, and I loved that we were there early, and I loved watching the Lexington lacrosse uniform on the field again. It's been since 2019 since we've seen that. And all of that gave me a lot of encouragement, and we saw some things on the field to be encouraged by. There's one reality that we need to excuse ourselves for. First of all, those two teams, they've won state championships recently. Winchester in 2019 and Reading in 2018. By my count, according to the roster, I think we had 3 players yesterday who were on the varsity in 2019, which is the last time we've played lacrosse together as a program. That's not a lot. I suspect that Reading and Winchester maybe had a few more players than we did with varsity experience. Coach Ling did a great job of trying to implement an offense that we could run yesterday. That rotating triangles offense is a good offense if you get a chance to practice it, which, of course, we had not had that chance. So we didn't really have a team offense in. We didn't have a team defense in. We didn't have a clear in. We didn't have any special teams work in. So, in a lot of ways, it kind of went the way I was expecting. I wasn't really that surprised by the outcome. So in that respect, actually, I found a lot of things to be encouraged by, as did the other coaches. We saw some really good individual efforts in moments. We saw some really nice, just one-on-one dodge and score plays that showed some nice creativity on the part of those players. We saw a few nice assisted goals, or at least assisted situations that resulted in decent shot opportunities. We saw some nice transition goals, and some really effective one-on-one defense. Okay, so we saw some good individual play out there that we thought was pretty good, and definitely gives us reason to be excited about what our potential is. So I want to talk about some things that obviously we need to do better, that we didn't do well enough yesterday. Let's start off with the team offense. Obviously, we didn't have an offense in, but frankly, you don't need an official offense in, an official structure in order to play effective lacrosse offense. A good offense does a couple things. First of all, it possesses the ball, meaning we clear it and we get our personnel on the field, and then everybody gets a touch, at least a couple, actually. When we have the ball, the other team can't score. And simply by possessing the ball, we are preventing the other team possession time, preventing the other team opportunities. And several times yesterday, we cleared the ball, got it to one person, and that one person went to the cage, like loaded up his dodge and went to the cage, without everybody getting involved initially. The other thing that does is, by moving the ball around a couple times, it gets the defense to have to move east-west and have to change up who the one is and who the two is and all that kind of stuff. And that's how you break a defense down. But if you dodge right away, you're dodging when they're at their most assured. They already know where they're sliding from because they've only had to see one or two guys touch the ball. The next part is that when we dodged, we watched. We didn't really move off ball. When we attack the cage, we need to be a team that attacks the cage with 6 players, not 1. Okay? That doesn't mean that everybody runs to the cage. That means that everybody moves in relation to their teammate who has the ball and in relation to their defender and the overall defense. You want to put the defense, in particular your particular defender, in a tough situation off ball. Okay? You already know where the ball is. There's no reason to sit there and watch it. There's reason for you to put yourself in a position to receive a feed or to clear space for your teammate who's dodging, or to be in a spot where you would catch a ball and rotate it very quickly to the weak side so that we can reattack. And so we both need to possess the ball, but then we have to move off ball. And an offense that isn't moving off ball is an offense that is about to lose possession or at least not score. Okay? And we need to be a team that understands we need to move. Everybody has a job once our teammate is dodging. Everybody has a job. And it doesn't have to be an X's and O thing. It needs to be, am I clearing space for my teammate? Or am I popping out for my teammate as a feed or an option? Okay? Am I slipping backdoor on my defender? Am I getting to the back pipe because they've forgotten about me? Those kinds of things. Okay? If you watch the Reading and Winchester teams, that's exactly what they were doing. Reading, for example, would dodge down the right alley, and we'd show our slide really early. I'm going to come to our team defense next, but we'd show our slide really early. And the guy who was sliding, his man would slip back door, cut to the crease, button hook for that dodger going down the right alley, and just catch one pass and have a good opportunity to score. And it wasn't really until the second game where we started to do that kind of stuff. Okay, but we really didn't do it at all in the first game. All right, so we can't sit and watch our teammate dodging. All right. As far as Team D, we kind of did the same thing. We stood around and didn't talk. All right. So again, when an offensive player would start his dodge, well, we'd have one player on the ball, but everybody else kind of standing and watching, which allowed the guys they were covering to get open backdoor, get open on the crease, slip into some sort of spot where they were able to catch in a high percentage shot. What we're going to work on in team defense is the more passes we force an offense to make after their initial dodge, the better off we'll be. What was happening yesterday is Reading and Winchester would dodge and score, or they would dodge in one pass and score. But what we need to force an offense to do is dodge and have to do at least two passes before they get an opportunity at a decent shot. The more passes we force, the more time and room we have to recover and get matched back up and stop them. So if we force a team to do three passes, well, guess what? It's likely that they're not getting a good shot and they're going to have to reset themselves. Or the more passes they make, the more likelihood there is that they're going to just make a bad pass or miss a pass and lose possession. We weren't forcing passes after the dodge, okay? And that's going to be a key factor in our defense. The other thing we weren't doing defensively was approaching well, and we weren't approaching at the right time, and sometimes not at the right angle. So when they would pass from one player to another, we would sit inside and then approach our player that we were covering after he got the ball. The problem there is that he now has room and time to get a run on you, go north-south, break you down, and get by you, and now force a slide. And that's not going to be effective for us. What we're going to work on is arrive with a check and leave with a check, and this is especially true for our long poles. So we need to time our approaches for when the ball is in the air so that when a player is catching the ball, we're already there, ready with a check on the hands. Okay, and we're going to bother until he doesn't want the ball, and as he goes to throw the ball, we're going to give him one more check. And we might create a turnover in that, and sometimes we will create a turnover in that situation, and other times we're at least going to get in that guy's head where he knows it's going to be a long day for him. He's going to take a lot of checks to the hands, and he's going to take a beating. Okay, so That'll prevent them from getting good dodge opportunities. We need to be in the Dodgers' face. We need to be physical on the Dodgers' hips, okay? And everybody else needs to take a step to the inside when they're showing dodge and then communicating their roles, okay? So a team shows dodge. We have one player on the ball. The other 5 players take one step to the inside towards the hat, as we like to say, okay? And communicates who the 1 is, who the 2 is. The 2 ideally sends the 1 slide rather than reacting to the 1 slide, ideally, okay? But if we're all inside, we're ready. We're sliding from the inside out, and our slides should be shorter, and we should be okay. We should be able to check sticks. We're already scraping lanes with our sticks, ready to knock passes down or check sticks, okay? So an offense that's not talking, a defense that's not talking is a defense that's about to score. An offense that's not moving is an offense that's not going to score. A defense that's not talking is a defense that's about to get scored on, okay? So those are some ideals of our offense and defense that we're going to focus on. We didn't have a clear in, but again, clears don't have to be about X's and O's. They're about playing calmly. They're about off-ball movement, okay? And we kind of panic cleared on several situations, so we'd have a good defensive set, and we'd get the ball and we'd start to clear it, and then we'd give it right back to the other team. We tried to clear it up the box side of the field, which puts you in a dangerous situation because there's transition by the box and you might get doubled. But we threw the ball away several times. So we need to play more calmly on the clear, and we need to be more effective. Okay, the clear, since we have some athleticism, especially in midfield, the clear should create some transition for us. We got a couple of those, but mostly we played a good defensive set, then gave the ball right back to the other team, and that oftentimes results in a goal. Okay, so we need to be more effective there. All right, and then as I already mentioned, face-offs. The bottom line is we need guys who can face off. We have to be at least 50% in any game with our opponent on face-offs. So we have some guys that put in a lot of hard work yesterday. Thomas and Andrew and Sean, I think even Lorenzo and Miles each took face-offs, okay? And we will have a long pole face-off set, okay? But we need a few guys to really decide, I'm gonna be the face-off guy. I'm gonna win that position. I'm gonna be the guy who wins the ball for us, okay? We really, really need that. If you remember in the Winchester game how it started, they won the faceoff, scored, won the faceoff, scored, won the faceoff, scored. I think they went up 4-0 like that. Now we fought back. We had a run of 3 straight goals or something like that, which showed our fight, showed our scrap. You know what I mean? And I was really psyched about that. But it's really hard to stay in a game if we're getting dominated at the faceoff X. So we need to do some hard work there. Who's going to be the guy that commits to being our face-off guy this season, 2021? All right, we need that person. Who's going to be that guy? Who's going to decide he's going to be that person for us? And just last thing is ground balls. I mean, we got outworked. And, you've heard coaches probably in the past, many of you say, make the analogy that ground balls are like rebounds in basketball. All right, but maybe they haven't said to you why. Rebounds in basketball are far less about being the tallest guy on the court and far more about attitude and smarts, okay? This is not just about getting both hands down to pick up the ground ball. You've got to see ground balls as an opportunity. You should get wide eyes when you see a ground ball near you. And want to outwork your opponent for that ground ball, want to out-hustle him, and then outsmart him. So there is some skill to getting a ground ball in the scrum of 2 or 3 guys, right? But it's mostly about effort, okay? It's mostly about intensity. It's mostly about what you got right here, okay? And And bottom line is, we got outworked to a lot of those situations, and we need to be a program that doesn't get outworked on the ground balls. Again, you know, 50-50 at least against our opponent in ground ball situations, and preferably 60-40, 70-30. Okay. How do you do that? Well, this is going to sound boring, but if you go up to Lincoln Field and you roll yourself 100 ground balls and you sprint through every single one of those ground balls, there's two things. You're working on your intensity on ground balls and your skills, your two-hand skills on ground balls, but you're also getting 100 sprints in, and that's a good fitness day. Even better, roll the ball out, get on the ground, get on your chest, and then get up and then sprint through. So now you've done 100 ground balls working on that skill. You've done 100 sprints, and you've done 100 push-ups. That's a good fitness day, and you've worked on your ground ball intensity. Okay, so I'd love to drive by Lincoln Field and see guys just doing that on their own. Okay, no matter what position you're in, by the way. Okay, you a goalie or you a long pole. Okay, middies, attackman. I want everybody doing that kind of work. All right, but I also want you guys to do a good job of just getting together. Okay, and building your team culture. So Miles texted me a picture recently of some guys on the wall behind the field house getting some stick work in. Great. Love that. Keep doing that. Okay. And then get together on warm days and get some small sided games in. You know why? Not just because we're working on being a better team, but we need to work on enjoying playing with one another. Okay. And having fun. All right. Heck, play some basketball together, right? Basketball and lacrosse are basically the same sport, and they're fun. You know what I mean? And if it's not right in terms of the weather to play lacrosse, but you can play some basketball, go do that together as a team. All right. So get into groups of 10 and get together. Get into groups of 20. Get everybody together and have a bunch of small sided games. Okay. And just have a lot of fun together while you're working on some things. All right. I was thinking as I was walking off the field after talking with you guys yesterday, kind of just watching Reading and Winchester. And I was thinking that, wow, they've already forgotten about us just moments after playing us. And I'm certain that the coaches and the players and the parents watching that game were probably thinking, well, this is a preview of the two teams that are going to be vying for the league title in 2021. And I just thought, it doesn't have to be that way. We can change that narrative. We have that within our ability, within our power. What kind of attitude is Reading going to have, is Winchester going to have when they step on the field in a real game against us next spring? Okay? After yesterday, are they going to take us seriously? I suspect not. So we need to take ourselves seriously right now. When I say to you guys, hustle, fight, scrap, and win April now, those aren't just like sayings that should be blown off. And those aren't just hashtags, even though I use those hashtags on the social media sites for the program. Those are attitudes that we need to adopt right now. Individually, we need to adopt those attitudes. Are you getting more fit? Are you getting stronger? Okay? And then are you getting more skilled? We need to hustle, fight, and scrap right now. We need to win April games right now. Who on Winchester and Reading and Melrose and Burlington, etc., are you outworking today? Anybody? Who among your teammates are you outworking? Because the bottom line is you're going to be competing for position in the program in the springtime. You're going to be competing for playing time. So who are you outworking? Okay? That's the attitude we need to take. And if each of us takes that attitude, then guess what? In April and May, when we play those teams, they are in for big trouble. We're going to surprise them. Okay? And I have all the faith in the world in you guys to get that done. Again, I really appreciate you. I'm proud of you guys for yesterday. And bottom line is, let's all get to work right now. Okay? Good job. Go Lex Lax.